Okay, welcome back. Today I'm just going to be touching base on few things. I can probably say as of where I'm at right now, I'm pretty fair with mixing now. I'm not what you call the pro level. I'm still a beginner, but for my level, when it comes down to actual mixing, from what I've been doing, um, when it comes to actual mixing, I feel like I got that down pack. Now I can move forward to a mastering stage. So this song that I just mix, um, it's quite busybody. Okay, uh, there's quite a few things going on here. Um, that's the whole section as a whole. And actually, if we, but you won't really see it if we were to just zoom, zoom in, and then zoom in horizontally. Zoom. Okay. So that's the entire project. If you were to see the entire project, um, there's quite some few. I believe there is approximately 50 plus tracks. No, actually, it's 90. Oh, 105 tracks altogether. The reason why I wanted to mix this particular song of mine, because a lot of the other songs that I have, it's a little bit less. They don't have that much sound in it. This particular project is a very busy body, not very much on the percussive side as far as the drums and so forth. Very limited amount of. This is just a one clap and one snare. I just double it up for a reason. I'm not here today to explain to you how I mixed this and how I went about mixing this because it was I did my so based on what I did the last time with my last mix, I used those template as a guide to guide me through. And then after I went and got that, even when opening those, because usually when I open them, it's all disabled, you have to readjust to a whole new session. So you have to do different dynamics, different setting for your EQs, different setting for your torque, AM track, different setting. But you have if it works for you in the past, you can use that, but you have to do a different layout every time. You can't just put the same setting and expect it to work every time. So that's one of the key. And two, I've been noticing that you started to notice I've been using one knob a lot. One knob here, one knob there, one knob there. Let's keep going. Um, I had one knob here, one knob there. Um, I'm not really gonna go through exactly why I'm using the one knob there. And last time when I was using the one knob, I was using more one knob here on the verse. Um, when I was using the one knob last time, which was on the 808, was to try to to take the darkness out of the 808 and give it a little bit more bright. But now when I'm using the one knob, I was using it more as a volume. I did not realize that, but it was like I don't know if that makes sense, but it was more like it create like if a sound everything is at the same level, but when everything start playing, some sounds disappear, and in order to bring that sound out, the one knob based on the setting will help me bring that into the mix so that it's audible somewhat either faintly or very prominent. So I'm not sure what's going on like behind the scene because it would be good to know. It's nice to have a plugin, but I would like to know what is going on so that way in the event I don't have a one knob, I know what kind of plugin I can go and grab to be able to fulfill that function that this one knob is doing. Now, I mean, lately it's really been a great tool. I'm pretty sure next time it will be something else. And I decided to use the Vandal. One of the thing, it doesn't work on everything very well. That because it brings a certain sound. I had put on one of the sound. I had a little bit of low end. It made it too bright, but it was the kind of brightness that I wasn't looking for. So only very few. Like this core here was really dark. It was and it was kind of bassy. So I wanted to use like a little guitar bass amp. So I went with this setting that had uh, what does it hit? The core hit. Okay. Oh yeah. That's right. That's why I used um, I did use that one. We went to guitar bass amp, and I went to the ping pong 430. So it gave it a little bit of room up in the upper end, but still kept the lower end without having to really disturb the kick and the 808. For me, that's why. But I'm right here to explain to you this project. I was very after this particular project because I wanted to get my mix into a level where I can just grab certain plugins to do certain things. Now I see why some mix engineer and mastering engineer has a boatload of plugins because there are going to be certain circumstances you're going to need a certain kind of plugin and you're going to have to think what area if it's in like the only difference though I liked about that we're jumping off topic here. The only reason what I used to like about Pro Tools back then, because when you go to search for the plugins, they're broken down into their specific category. Like if I was to go and say let's go into plugin browser, right? And if I was to go in here, I don't have the ability for it to be broken down into. Oh, maybe we'll go to category, then maybe I never really use that category spot. But like I said, if it comes down to compression, dynamics, every dynamic plugins will be in that section, which I just noticed here now. But you see, that's why you gotta take the time to know your DAW. Because I never went to the category, I always went to location. So this helps a lot. So if you're looking for a dynamic plugin, you get to scroll through. But what I would really like is, see, I have my favorite plugins. Like for example, I have favorites. So in my favorites, I would like it to be broken down into those same category. Whether it's equalization, dynamics, reverb, EQ. I like all of these to be put in their own category instead of me having to continue. So when I'm looking for a specific, if it's a reverb things I'm seeking, I can just go to reverb and see all the reverb that I have as my favorite and go to that. And then if it's has to do with multi-band compressor, I'm pretty sure will be in the dynamics. So it's like everything should have its category to make it faster to search through. Rather than searching, I'm like, sometimes you even pass it, you don't realize, then you have to go back again and look, and that's time. So that's one thing. Back in the day when I used to use Pro Tools, one of the things I didn't like, and which I like in this session is, for example, here. Let's open this up. We'll go to Object Editor. Okay, and if we go to Object Editor, this is all real time. So if I went to Pro Tools and I go into, usually it will be somewhere up here, and you can kind of, real time pick an effect to affect the object before going into the actual mixer. Once you render it, it's like that file is updated and it changed to a different name, but you're not able to go back into that actual object and open up that same setting and adjust it a little bit more. You can only do it once. Well, I don't know if that's actually what's the case. Maybe, like I said, I did not really know the DAW very well, but I didn't like that limitation. However, I like this. In the event, I started to do some things, and I feel like I wanted more of the mix. I wanted the actual delay to be more as equal with the vocals, as if like there's the volume difference from from the vocal and the delay should be the same, and I wanted to adjust that. I can easily come right back to it, adjust it. If I want to do anything else, I can still adjust it, and it's all individual objects, so it's all real time. It helps save me some time when it comes down to computer processing power. The only thing I don't put on the pre-effects is the dynamic EQs, because that guy is a workhorse. However, I'm still learning and working with this to make this more fluent. And when it comes to automation, I want to do it manually instead of drawing it in, but unfortunately I have to draw this one in. But it didn't work out the way I was, because where I try to dip it down, because okay, let's go into it. So, and let's open this up more. So like, for example, the beginning of the phrase, I wanted the delay to be more, but towards the end I wanted it to be, but it did not work out that way. I'm not sure why it was not functioning. I tried figuring a lot of things. I even clicked activate automation draw, but like it was not representing the curves that I was actually putting in. It was still act is like normal, like the normal 50% volume that I had it set. So I didn't want to waste time, so I just moved on. But I'm gonna have to try to figure out is that, so how I set it up was I went to this and I went to Core FX. And so I right clicked on that, I went to Core FX, and because I wanted to automate the actual effects plugin, and I only wanted to affect the mix because I wanted it to be, I want to control as I'm speaking. I wanted to lower it as they're coming towards the end. Then I want the delay to come out so that you can really hear the tail end of the delay. So that's why I went there and I did the mix. So that's why you see the mix here. And I clicked the automation thing to go through, and I noticed that it was not working. I even went and opened up the thing and it was not automating. So I'm not sure what the fault is there. I'll keep working that out. As right now, I'm not hearing anything back from Magix like I used to. But it's just, if it's just gonna be a fluke, it's just, oh well. I mean, it'll be great so my section can move smoothly. If I want something to work a certain kind of way, I work it. Like for example, if I had a tremolo or maybe a dynamic compressor or maybe even a reverb, and I want the reverb to not be present, but then as soon as a certain space I want to bring the reverb up so you get at the tail end, I want to be able to control that. I want to actually start mixing them, because before I was not mixing, I was just doing something, but now I want to actually start mixing because I have more motivation to mix and to do things, and it does take time comes and goes. So that's one thing I like about this, but I just don't like the automation session. It's not thoroughly up to date. If there's something that someone knows that maybe is the reason why it's not automating, maybe there's something needed to be done before, you can make that known, make that available. So okay, what is another thing? So after my sessions, for me, I always just say when I start mixing, I have nothing on my mix bus. I'm just like I'm actually gain staging without any effects on my mastering stage. Well, I mean, I've seen some other people mentioning. 1 second here. I have seen other people mention that they put a limiter. At least they put a limiter before the gain stage, so that whatever the I'm not sure if that's a thing, if that's just a one person thing or a few people thing, or if that's like an industry practice. In order for me to do that, I have to know that that is an industry practice, that this is like across the board, that you have something on your mix bus to mix through, so that you have a realistic like a realistic show of like what sound and things are going on. Eventually, one day I will try it and see how it works, but I just don't have anything on there. I usually finish doing all my mix before I start to add stuff on there. I mean, there's still time where like even when I add stuff on there, I have to go back in the session, make a little adjustment here, boost a little thing. Well, I try not, once I get my volume set, I try not to use my volume anymore. I just try to use, that's what I'm saying, like for those sounds that you saw over here while using the one knob, like on the hit, no, on the pad, it's like a heavenly pad where and it disappeared when the chorus was playing. So I just kind of boosted that up to 3. It became a little bit more prominent when all the organs or all the instruments are playing together. You can still be able to hear it, but at the same time, when it's in the mix by itself, it's not so loud and like too like, oh, it's like, yeah. So perfect. So now with this, this is, now I feel ready. Like I started to realize that it's more fun you can use with more plugins you have. You can just try some few things. Like on this funk pad, what I did was I put a Briar Motion thing. And this is where I feel like I'm ready to start mixing in surround. But before I start mixing in surround, which bring me to the next stage of things, is when I'm done with my track here, I usually always leave at least 4 dB. I don't know why. So I asked AI and I said, what is the best level to for your mix to be able to run it through the Ozone 10 element, because that's what I've been running it through. So they gave a ballpark, and that ballpark kind of fall within the minimum range of like the -4 dB. It was talking about -6. It was talking, that's a lot of headroom, but I usually automatically always keep it at -4 dB, so that way that in mastering I give enough space to do a lot of things. So now that we're done with the mixing, and I told you that for me personally, I feel like I'm at this stage, I'm ready to start mixing. Like I feel like I am ready. I don't need someone to say, I think you're ready for mixing. I know now, based on my abilities, I know now that I am ready to start mixing. So now I can actually take a project seriously and really go in. And a lot of the things taking the project seriously is not all in the mixer. It's not all here. It's all like here, little places where you want to add delays, you want to add little special characters, having more control and stuff. And another thing that I wanted to re-record this project, but I decided not to and just leave it as is, because let's go up here. As you can see, whenever I make my beats in Fruity Loop, because of the how Magic really slowed me down in when it comes down to making beats in Magix, and then from converting from MIDI to audio so I can get rid of the MIDI, it's a little complicated and too much. I just don't like things to be complicated. It should be smooth, easy, fast, and quick transition when working from MIDI to audio. Like I should be able to set my output to a certain audio and record it, and it should work nicely without any, like I should be able to record all my MIDI at once into a different audio track and like be done with them and delete the save as, meaning that once I have it transition to audio, save as. So I save the MIDI and the audio as a different project, and then have a different project I'm working with where I can delete the audio. So in the event I need something from the MIDI, I can reopen. Like I said, that's what I like about this project, because I can open that and have these sections open back, back and back to each other, and then I can do that adjustment and bring it into the project without any other thing. What else? So like I was saying, so when I bring my, like for these are all chords, right? These are all chords. Everything that's in purple are always my chords. I try to put my chords in purple so I can recognize them. And then all my kick and my hits and the 808s are always in red. There are times where I kind of change. Sometimes it's orange, sometimes it's yellow, depending on the mood, so that's something you will see change regularly. But however, my vocals are always green light, and sometimes my lead instrument might be blue or it might be something else. but most 100% of the time, my chorus will stay consistently purple. Why purple? It's the royalty. They're the one that really driving the track. You know what I'm saying? So they're the royalty. Um, so the thing I want from Magic is that they need to work on more technical stuff instead of trying to go. I wish they never sold the boards because I don't know what the legal amplification is there. I just don't like having to work too much on the U.S. laws. It's just that I don't like it. But what can I do? I have no control over those things, anyways. But what I would like to do is like if I wanna, they need to create like a cut, like a faster way to make a cut. Like you see, I try to cut them at every 4 bars, even though there are 8 bars um thing. But I like to when I bring them in, and one of the things, the reason why I can re-record a track when I brought them in originally, I did not initiate the grade. Oh, oops, sorry. So let's open up the transport. I never initiated a grade. So when I actually brought the main chords in and I tried to put it a grade, things were just not the right way. And it was not, the BPM was not 120, it was 130. However, I just make do with what I had and I decided to just keep things as it is because there's going to be too much work to go and start all the way from scratch. So for this track, it's just going to stay as it is, or maybe in the near future, like future, I could probably re-bring them in, remix them when there's more, like re-record them and mix them according to the way I wanted to. But going back to the cut mode, I wish there's a way where you can highlight the tracks that you want, right? And you hit like a Control X or like Control B or whatever it may be, right, to bring up the cut mode, and they ask you like how many bars should it cut, so that from the when you highlight the entire song. So if I was to highlight, let's take this out of the way here. If I was to highlight all of this, right, and I click that mode, and it asks at how many bars like should it cut for the entire length of the object, not just just that one cut. So like you put in every 4 bars to the end of the project, so that automatically when it cuts, it's cutting every 4 bars all the way to the end. It will save me a whole lot of work. Oh, that'll be so much better. Those are the technical things that I'm talking about. Now that I'm actually going to start mixing, those things will be very important for me because there are certain areas that I might want to, yeah, do my thing and stuff like that. So that's another thing. I wish they go focus on doing that. It will be great in the editing phase, because you want to make editing fast, it's fun and easy instead of trying to because sitting here and then going through like this, uh, and 4 bar click, and 4 bar click, and click. By the time you get to the object, that's about like 5-10 minutes gone right there. You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes you might make a little mistake, and you might just accidentally not on the exact 4 bar unless you're really zoomed in. But now you're gonna make a little mistake. You think you're close to the 4 bar, you're gonna click on it, and then you go look, boom, you're off. So that's pretty much how I would like Marjorie to make something on there. So working in cut mode is fun. If there's already is, I'm keep searching, but I did not see anything that allowed you. Like for example, if I put cut, so cut mode. So when you click this, because you got cut, time ripple, you have cut mode. So we're gonna do both so you can see what I'm talking about. What happens? Nothing. So let's go back again. Okay, give me a second here. All right, sorry about that. I had to take that. So it would be nice. I mean, the more right now, I didn't want to go into in depth because there's a lot of other things I want to, like for example, let's change this before I make some kind of mistake. You see, then I can go to individual object, like certain term. This is how I mix. This is how I edit before I go forward. This is how I edit. So now that I have all these info bars, because I have so much sound in places, I like to see. I couldn't really. What happened here was, if you look at this track, if we zoom in, and if you zoom in, you will notice that this track has different volume. Okay, that is one thing you will notice. Well, even when I cut it in 4 bars, I could not remove it. Why? Because if I remove it, the transition is weird because it's not on the right grade, it's not on the right timing. So all I could do at that time was, it has their own individual. You notice this one is minor 11, this one is 4, this one is at its normal level. You notice that that's the only thing I could have done, because I don't want everything to be the same all throughout the arrangement, even though they are constantly playing, because I couldn't delete them out, but they are at a lower volume than noticeable at places. So those are the reason why I would like to have that ability. If I want to cut it into 2 bars, it should be 2 bars. Every 2 bars at the end of the project. If I want to cut it into 1 bar all the way to the end of the project, 8 bars, so that I have, like, because I'm bringing it in audio and I want to be able to cut them in a region to be able to affect them and add effects certain places. So what if, like, the chorus about to drop and I wanted to a certain specific sound, and I wanted to put maybe what's the prior motion, right? And I wanted to sound those, like, maybe 3 or 4 of those instruments to have a specific kind of, and I still don't have a way to really dial in my own settings on this yet. I just use the default because it's not really complex. It's easy. You can set your own setting, but to have more control over what it is that I'm doing, so I know. And I haven't taken the time to learn the plugin yet. I just saw it and I was scrolling through. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna use this. So, like, I wanted to have that effect. So, like, things, it's not like a tremolo effect, but the sound is moving around you. That's why I said I want to start mixing it in, like, surround now. But I want the sound to be in front of you, then behind you, then come on the side of you, and then just like that until it kicks into the actual chorus or the hook or whatever it may be. So that's that. Another thing I would want them to do is that when it comes to mixer setup, okay, when you go here or when you click this thing here, I read through, I understand what it is, but my thing is, what is my concern? Yeah, my concern is, if I'm going to mix a setup, right? Let's just say I'm about to start mixing, right? And I'm like, okay, this is what I want. Make it possible. I don't want to have to go and add individual buzzes. If I come here and I said, okay, I want, let's actually cancel this so you can see why it does not work. Let's just save. Okay, all right, then let's go back. Because I was getting so mad I wouldn't do what I wanted to do. So I already have my tracks. I want them to stay at what it is. I didn't realize they were 99, but I wanted them to stay at where they were. And then that's the kind of project I want to work on. Like, I want to work with, like, I want to mix people tracks that has minimum like 70 tracks, because the more confusing and the more difficult it is, that's kind of challenge. That's why I want to mix, because when I was mixing this, that's what I decided to have fun, because now I have a idea what I'm doing. But yeah, so I want to keep that, but also, and when I mean 99, I don't mean like 40 of those tracks are just like Foley's and stuff that just come in, and I mean like sounds like that, because I like to fill up the speakers. I'm very stingy with speaker space. I don't feel like the speaker should be wasted because the speaker is meant to play sound. So I want to stuff, like a stuffed crust. I want to stuff the speaker as much. That's the reason I guess I'm different, because that's why I don't beat everybody arena. Because I just want the speakers to be filled every time. Because I feel like speakers is for sound, is to play sound. So why can't I put as much sound as I can in there for it to play it, but still at the same time, make sense that it's not like jumble. But towards the end of this track, it's jumbled. It's like all 99 tracks are playing at the same time. All 99. So it's like, what the? Okay, sorry. So right now I have 12 bus. I have 12 sub bus, and if I click, I say I want maybe 20, because let's just say I'm starting my mixing project. Because when you're trying to open the project, it only gives you about the maximum of 4 sub bus. And I said right now, to be quite frank, I am not really using Oxys, because thanks to Isotope FX EQ, I have limited my Oxys. To be quite honest, it saved me. That's why I'm able to focus on my sub boxes, so that I can be able to do more things, side chaining and things like that. When people was talking about the mid side processing and side chaining, I find it to be too complex. But now I want more power from it, from the side chaining, most especially because the mid side is so easy with the EQ, but the side chaining, I just want so much routing to be possible that no feedback. Like I was mentioning, let's finish with this and we'll talk about that as well. So if I wanted to, of course, I don't really touch these. And the reason why I don't really like this, I wish that surround mixing was like what they had in Magic's Music Maker Premium. Because you click on the surround sound and you have the ability to adjust the dial, like you move the thing. But like for me, I don't like to work. See, there's two things I want. I don't know if I'm gonna remember both of them. Let's say we had two sub bus. I wanted this in my sub bus, and I clicked OK. Okay. What happens is that I put in 18 or 19 sub buses. By the end of the day, it doesn't add it to the track. These are just the extra ones that I already had before. Oh, did it? Is it trying to make me look bad? I wonder if there's a way to undo. Oh, oops. Now it's trying to make me look bad, because I tried opening this for the longest time and it will not allow me to open other bus, so that way that I don't have to go insert a bus. And the bus is not something like, you can go in and be like, what you can do, add several tracks. Every time you want to open a submit bus, you gotta come and click it. You gotta come and click it. You gotta come and click it. And that is annoying. So maybe if it's make me look bad, I will try that at another time. How about we do this? I have okay. There's a track here that I'm working on. As you can see, all I have right now is a drum bus right here. As you can see, like I said, my chords are always in purple. Melody bus, okay, and there's nothing else, right? So, and this is not a track I've recorded to. This is just me bringing in the wave audio. Like I said, it took me too long to cut, because as you can see, I deleted these, right, because I don't want them to be there. So like for example, you see the chord, took some stuff out here and there, just so that not everything is always playing, so it's a few elements comes in and out. But the problem here is that you have to, what I'm saying, that's time consuming. But however, let's go back to this thing. That's safe before we do anything else. Okay, so let's go to setup, and let's go to mixer setup, And right now we only have 2 buses. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and make it. So we're gonna need one for the kick. We're gonna need one for the clap, hi-hats, perks. Let's just say one more for any percussion plugins. Then we need one for the chorus. Let's just say we need 4, so that's 9. And then for the vocals, let's just say we're gonna need 2, so let's just say 11. So right now we are on 2, so we need 11 more, so we need 13. Okay. Let's see what happens. Okay, so now it's making me look bad. It just made me look bad, so bad. That's so messed up. Why you gonna do that to me, man? For some reason, when I was trying to do this, it would not add any buzz at all. So let's leave that one alone. And also, I like to have a setup where, like, let's set up and let's like, I wish there's a way to save this setup. Like, why I keep clicking this? Where did I go to save it last time? Didn't I not save it? Okay, let's go to, let's save it as the toe. Okay. All right, so we can cancel that. So let's say if I go back and I want that much buzz to be open where I having to keep opening submit boxes, I just have that available. What else I want to touch base on again? Okay, so now we can go back. Those 2 things I was trying to tell you about, I can't quite remember them now. Sorry, let's go back to the track was on. Okay. So while I'm here, we're probably gonna move forward. So now that when it comes down to this mixing, I'm done with mixing. So what I will usually do is when I have it at around like -4, let's say, then I'll bring it in here for plastering, because I told you I don't do master, right? I just do plastering. So when I plaster, I put it in Ozone, it reads, it's listening, and it gives me its stuff. Well, I don't know what's going on in here, right? I'm just doing plastering just to kind of touch it up so that it can take it from where I had it in the mix to bring it up a little bit more. And sometimes it's dark, and sometimes it's, I just want you to see visuals, so I'm going to turn the real stream on so you're not really hearing it, but I want you to see visually. Oh, there's another thing I'm going to show you. Say I'm talking about visual. So, okay, so you're seeing that taking place right now. But based on that, I didn't really like the entire thing. So what I went to do is I brought that down, because when I try to add something after it, it start peaking. So I said, okay, since you want to be mean and stingy, I'm going to come before, I'm gonna make it come before. So I'll put the EQ on the track directly and adjust wherever I need to adjust, in the manner I wish I want to adjust it to make it kind of clear, give it a little bit of air, get a little bit of room, because it didn't have that clarity and that I wanted. The reason why I wrote this up, because I didn't want it too much, but I still wanted the air. So it's like balance one another out. But now that I'm ready for mastering, now I don't know, I don't have no money, but now I need to figure out what tools I would want to use for mastering, because I know the tools that I use for mixing, it has to be better or like, really, really there, you know what I'm saying, on point. So with that being said, I don't know if I should invest in Ozone or if I should invest in other plugins and and so forth, or I should do a mixture. I don't really have money for a mixture. I mean, I don't know if Ozone come with individual template because it's like a whole stack. So like once it gets to a point, you cannot. It just doesn't make sense to add things after it and stuff like that. Maybe you can add it before, but I don't know where I'm going with that yet. But now I'm gonna have to start getting into a mastering mentality. Then once I learn that, I can go back to my mix and know, oh hey, this is what I'm considering. This is what I'm seeing when I'm trying to master a track. Because I haven't mastered any tracks yet. I just been doing some things just like I haven't been mixing. Okay. Another thing I want to know is I have concern about this. Okay, you see I'm peaking here, right? Okay, but if you take a look here, right? I want to understand what's the difference between these two. Okay, so as you can see, I'll go back in. This is just for visual purpose only. So I'm peaking here over the red, and I don't like going in that area because I feel like that's clipping. But when I'm looking at this spectrograph or spectroscope, I noticed that you see, of course, the time I'm trying to do this, that's when they want to do some cleaning around here. Hold on. Anyway, he's going to bring himself back around here again. But anyways, so I'm trying to understand where I'm going wrong. Do I need to worry over here if it's speaking at like, 5 to 7? You know what I'm saying? Because is that something I need to be concerned about? Because over here it's not peaking at 0, but according to this graph, it is peaking above 0. So if someone can make a video explaining what is the difference between the two and why is that happening, will be great, because I want to make sure that if I should be going by this or by this, or consider both as a whole. So what's correlation meter? Oh, actually, no, that's wrong. I don't want a correlation meter either. Which one was? And I did go through all of these. Another thing too I started to realize is I wish I had more places to add more visual during the mastering stage, because that's why I like this plugin. You already have your built-in thing. You don't need a plugin for that. Like that would take up more space. I just need this, and I need to learn what is the where it's supposed to be. As far as this is where I need to start paying attention to now when I'm coming into mastering, so I can understand these LUFs thing that people be talking about, because I was doing what I was doing, it was just going over my head. So now I want to okay, sorry, let's load the headphones down so it's not, because I'm not listening to it. So yeah, so this is something I want to start learning, figuring out, and staying on top of it. Let's see, output. Oh, that's nice. Okay, so those are the things with the visuals. As far as this graph and this other graph, when I start seeing this turning red, I start to worry. But then when I open that one, I'm still in the good. So it's like, what am I really supposed to do here? So, and then the peak meter, because I listened to Are You Listening Mastering, and the guy said something yesterday that was quite fascinating. If you have I'm not going to be able to quote him now because of the technical term that he used. If you have an audio that's peaking like up here, but then like I believe he said the RMS is like at a certain level below that, then it's sometime you need to go and revisit the mix. I need to watch the video again, get a little bit, but it's like key details and key moment. I don't think sometimes I realize, even though I think I get more information from like advices than the actual mixing tips. feel like advices give me a good understanding on some things that I need to consider. Hold on. Okay, sorry. So I'll have to go and consider what he was talking about. So we did the largest meter cancel. Um, that. So this is why I like this program because it gives you. Uh, and now I don't really be using it because visually right now I don't really know what I'm like looking at until I study it. Um, huh. I need to study this. This might be something I want to consider because why is this red? You know? So usually they have yeah, these are things I'll have to start studying now so that I can be able to um yeah, so that's where I'm at right now. I'm ready for mastering. So that's the stage, and that's pretty much what I want to talk about. There was two things I wanted to talk about. I can't quite remember them right now anymore because I talked and I'm done talking. So I will put that up, and yeah, for now that's it. That's where we are gonna go. Yeah, I'm trying to think of something, but I can't. All right, thank you for tuning in and peace. Have a blessed day. Peace.